Ronnie the rhino trudges across a sun-scorched plain, her glowing horn casting faint golden light. Gazelles leap, wildebeests graze, and meerkats chatter under a blazing sky. Ronnie pauses, sensing something unusual as a dry wind whips the sand. Ronnie reaches a parched waterhole, its bed cracked and lifeless. Ollie the ostrich, watching from a dune, explains the drought threatens the herd. Ronnie's horn glows brighter, revealing a riddle. What flows without water? She vows to solve it, her eyes determined. Zeke the zebra bounds over, teasing Ronnie's horn but intrigued by the riddle. He suggests time as the answer, sparking a playful debate. Ollie nods, revealing an ancient scroll buried nearby, hinting at a hidden oasis unlocked by riddles, urging them to team up. The trio reaches Mirage Rock, a towering stone pillar shimmering with heat. The scroll's first riddle glows. I speak without a mouth, what am I? Ronnie's horn pulses and Zeke guesses echo. The rock shifts, revealing a path to the labyrinth, but Varco the vulture circles overhead. The trio enters a desert labyrinth of shifting sands and towering cacti. The second riddle appears. I have cities but no houses, what am I? Ollie suggests a map, and Ronnie's horn guides them through a sandstorm, her bracelet glinting as Varco's shadow looms. Varco drops a net of thorny vines, ensnaring the trio. Zeke's quick dashes free Ronnie, while Ollie's height lifts the net. Ronnie's horn glows with the next riddle. I fly without wings, what am I? They guess time, escaping as Varco cackles from above. The trio finds a crumbling bridge over a dry ravine, its ropes fraying. The riddle, I'm taken from a mine and shut up in a wooden case, what am I? Stumps them until Ollie suggests pencil lead. Ronnie's horn stabilizes the bridge, but it shakes under Varco's weight. Varco ambushes them mid-bridge, slashing ropes with his talons. Zeke leaps to a vine, swinging to distract, while Ollie uses his height to push Varco off. Ronnie's horn reveals the next riddle. I am full of holes, yet I can hold water. What am I? They escape to safety. The trio reaches the whispering dunes, where sand sings with ancient voices. The riddle, I'm always hungry, I must always be fed. What am I? Puzzles them until Zeke guesses fire. Ronnie's horn unlocks a hidden cave, but Varco's screech echoes, closing in. Inside the cave, the final riddle glows. I have keys but open no locks, space but no room. You can enter but not go outside, what am I? Ollie suggests a keyboard, and Ronnie's horn reveals the oasis, a glowing pool. Varco blocks the exit, demanding the scroll. Varco unleashes a sandstorm inside the cave, collapsing the entrance. Zeke's agility clears debris, while Ollie's strength holds a boulder. Ronnie's horn pulses, solving the riddle with trust, weakening Varco's hold. The oasis glows brighter, guiding them out. The trio emerges as the oasis bursts forth, its waters flooding the plain with life. The scroll disintegrates, its magic spent, but Varco, humbled, offers to guard the oasis. Ronnie's horn dims, signaling the quest's end, yet more challenges loom. Ronnie calls a council at the oasis, its waters now a lifeline. Gazelles, wildebeests, and meerkats gather as she shares the scroll's wisdom. Ollie leads a chant, and Zeke rallies the herd, uniting them to sustain the oasis against future droughts. A sudden sandstorm tests the oasis's resilience. Ronnie's horn glows faintly, guiding the animals to reinforce the banks. Zeke's speed and Ollie's height work together, while Varco scouts from above, proving their unity can withstand nature's fury. That night, the animals hold a starlit festival by the oasis, with fireflies illuminating a feast of desert fruits. Ronnie, Zeke, and Ollie are crowned with glowing thorn crowns, honored as saviors. Varco joins the dance, his necklace glinting, now a guardian. At dawn, Ronnie stands atop a dune, overlooking the thriving plain, her horn dim but proud. Zeke and Ollie flank her, Varco soaring above. The herd grazes peacefully, the oasis a beacon. Ronnie whispers of future quests, her spirit unbroken. Ronnie roars softly, her voice carrying across the plain as the animals gather. She declares, "Our knowledge and teamwork unlocked this treasure." The moral lesson shines. Knowledge and teamwork unlock life's hidden treasures.
In a shimmering pond surrounded by wildflowers, Mama Duck tends to her nest as her eggs hatch. 4 fluffy ducklings emerge, but the last, Ducky, looks different, gray and patchy. Mama Duck smiles warmly, but Ducky feels a pang of doubt as his siblings giggle. Ducky tries to join his siblings' games, but they mock his clumsy waddle and gray feathers, calling him Ugly Ducky. Hurt, he wanders to the pond's edge, where his reflection shows a scruffy figure. Mama Duck comforts him, saying, "You're special in your own way." Ducky ventures into the meadow, hoping to make friends. Rabbits and butterflies whisper about his odd appearance, making him feel outcast. A kind frog, Freddy, hops over, offering a smile and a riddle. What shines inside outlasts what shines outside. Ducky ponders this. At dusk, a glowing star feather floats down from the sky, landing near Ducky. It pulses with light, whispering, "Follow me to find your truth." Intrigued, Ducky decides to leave the pond, embarking on a journey to discover his true self, despite his fears. Ducky enters a misty forest, where tall trees cast eerie shadows. He trips over roots, feeling lost, until Sally the sparrow flutters down, her red berry necklace bouncing. She sings a cheerful tune, guiding him through the fog with her bright spirit. Emerging from the forest, Ducky and Sally reach a golden wheat field under a sunny sky. Sally teaches Ducky to waddle confidently, saying, "Your heart leads your steps." The star feather pulses, urging Ducky onward, as he feels a spark of courage. A sudden storm brews, with rain and thunder shaking the field. Ducky shelters under a tree, scared, but Freddy appears, his leaf hat dripping. He tells Ducky, "Storms pass, but your strength stays." Together, they wait out the storm, Ducky's resolve growing. The storm clears, revealing a starlit lake where majestic swans glide. Ducky, still scruffy, feels out of place but notices the star feather glowing brighter. Sally encourages him to approach the swans, saying, "You belong somewhere, Ducky." He takes a hesitant step forward. A kind swan, shimmering with a soft glow, approaches Ducky, seeing his star feather. She says, "You're one of us." Ducky, confused, looks into the lake and sees his reflection beginning to change. His gray feathers shimmer faintly, hinting at his true form. The star feather bursts into light, enveloping Ducky. His patchy feathers turn radiant white. His body grows graceful, and his reed bracelet sparkles like silver. Ducky emerges as a swan, his blue eyes shining with confidence. The other swans cheer, welcoming him. The swans invite Ducky to the Festival of Stars, a celebration under the night sky. Ducky glides across the lake, joined by Freddie and Sally, as animals from the meadow arrive to dance and sing. Mama Duck and the siblings appear, amazed at Ducky's beauty, and apologize for their teasing. As dawn breaks, Ducky soars above the lake, his white feathers glowing in the sunrise. He thanks Freddie and Sally for their friendship, realizing his inner beauty was always there. The meadow animals cheer, and Ducky feels at home, knowing true beauty shines from within.
At the foot of the jagged Cragglethang Mountain lived a village known for its perfectly tended gardens and cheerful villagers. But their peaceful world was overshadowed by a single grumbling secret. A dragon lived at the top of the mountain. His name was Ignis, and all the villagers knew him by his great smoky size and the occasional thundering rumble that shook their teacups. They believed he was a grumpy, fire-breathing beast, a monstrous guardian of the high peaks. In this village lived a young boy named Leo. Unlike the others, Leo was not afraid of the mountain or the dragon. He had a gentle heart and a curious mind that found wonder in the smallest things, especially in the world of plants. He spent his days in the village garden, tending to the flowers and vegetables. One spring, a powerful storm raged through the valley, sending a great landslide of rocks crashing down the mountain. The village's main water pipe, which ran from a spring high up on Cragglethang, was shattered. The villagers' fear of the dragon was so great they refused to even consider going up the mountain to find the only material that could seal the pipe, a rare glowing moss that grew in the misty peaks. Leo, seeing his beloved garden and the village's crops beginning to wilt, knew he had to do something. He tied a sturdy rope to his mace, packed a small satchel, and began the long climb up Cragglethang. With every step, the grumbles of Ignis grew louder, and the air grew thick with the smell of smoke. Leo's heart pounded in his chest, but his love for his garden gave him the courage to continue. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, he reached the summit. He expected to find a dark, scorched lair, but what he found was something completely different. Hidden behind a veil of swirling mist was a vibrant, glowing oasis, a breathtaking garden filled with plants that pulsed with soft inner light. The grass shimmered like green starlight, the flowers were the color of forgotten rainbows, and the humming sound that filled the air came from the plants themselves. And in the center of it all was Ignis, the great dragon, but he wasn't roaring or breathing fire. His large, scaly body, which was the color of volcanic rock, was curled around a delicate silvery fern. With his enormous claws, he was carefully picking off a single wilted leaf. His expression was not of rage, but of deep, gentle concentration. Leo, astonished, finally spoke. "Mr. Ignis?" The dragon flinched, startled, and puffed a small cloud of smoke. He turned to face Leo, his great golden eyes filled with surprise. "A boy," he rumbled, his voice a low vibration that shook the ground. How did you find my garden?" Leo, though still nervous, felt a sudden sense of bravery. He explained about the village's broken pipe and his quest for the special moss. He then pointed to the garden. "This place is beautiful. I didn't know you loved plants." A sad look crossed Ignis's face. "No one does," he sighed. "They only see my size, my scales, and the puffs of smoke I make when I sneeze. I keep this garden a secret because it's not very dragon-like. I was afraid they would laugh at me or be even more afraid of my gentle side." He looked at his own large claws with a hint of sadness. Leo's heart went out to the lonely dragon. "This is your true self. It's the most beautiful part of you." Touched by the boy's honesty, Ignis smiled. It was a strange sight to behold, a great dragon's lips curling into a soft grin. "The moss you seek is over there," he said, gesturing with a massive wing. "It's a fragile thing. I will help you harvest it." Together, the two of them, the giant gentle dragon and the small brave boy, carefully gathered the glowing moss, Ignis's large claws proving surprisingly delicate. He showed Leo exactly how to tend to the moss to keep it fresh and powerful enough to seal the pipe. Leo returned to his village, his satchel filled with the precious moss. The villagers greeted him with amazement, certain he had been eaten. He quickly set to work, and soon the village's water supply was restored. But Leo did not stop there. He gathered the villagers and told them about his journey. He described the magnificent glowing garden and the dragon who tended it with such care. He told them that Ignis was not a monster, but a misunderstood soul who hid his true passion for fear of being judged. From that day on, the villagers looked at Cragglefang Mountain differently. When they heard a rumbling sigh, they no longer feared a great beast, but instead imagined a gentle giant, a gardener of secrets. They learned that the most important thing is to look beyond appearances and reputation, for everyone, no matter how they seem on the outside, has a hidden kindness and a beautiful heart. Tonight, dear friends, we journey to a place where fireflies dance like tiny fairies and the moonbeams paint silver stripes on sleepy leaves. Our story begins in the Whispering Woods, a place so ancient even the oldest trees couldn't remember when they first sprouted. In the very heart of these woods lived a little firefly named Flicker. Now, Flicker wasn't like the other fireflies. While they loved to glow bright and boast about their dazzling light, Flicker was a worrier. He worried about his glow, which sometimes flickered a bit, and he worried about the big, dark shadows that danced between the trees at night. One starlit evening, as the woods hummed with sleepy cricket songs, Flicker was practicing his glow near the oldest, wisest oak tree. Suddenly, a shimmering light, brighter than any star he'd ever seen, fell from the sky. It wasn't falling fast like a meteorite. It floated down, slow and gentle, like a feather drifting on a breeze. Flicker watched, mesmerized as it landed softly in a patch of glowing moon moss. Curiosity twinkling in his tiny heart, Flicker flew closer. What he saw made his little antennae wiggle with wonder. It wasn't a rock, or a leaf, or even a particularly shiny dewdrop. It was a tiny, sparkling star, no bigger than his own antennae, pulsing with a soft, comforting light. It seemed to be humming a sad, quiet tune. "Hello?" Flicker whispered, his voice barely a squeak. The little star shivered, and its light dimmed for a moment before brightening up again. It couldn't speak, but Flicker felt a strange sense of longing radiating from it. He knew, deep in his firefly soul, that this little star was lost. It belonged in the sky, among its family of twinkling brothers and sisters. Flicker, despite his worries, knew what he had to do. He had to help the lost star find its way home. But how? The sky was so vast, and he was just a tiny firefly. He took a deep breath, puffed out his chest, and with the little star gently nestled on his back, began his brave journey through the Whispering Woods. He flew past the giggling brook where the water sprites waved tiny farewells. He dodged the grumpy badger, who was too busy snoring to notice their adventure. He even tiptoed past the sleeping giant mushroom, whose colorful cap glowed like 100 tiny lanterns. As dawn approached, painting the sky with hues of rose and gold, Flicker grew tired. The little star's light, though still soft, felt heavier now. Just as he was about to give up, a wise old owl perched on a branch hooted softly. "Little firefly," the owl rasped, "you carry a piece of the heavens. To reach the sky, you must seek the dream catcher's meadow. Only there can dreams take flight." Flicker, renewed with hope, followed the owl's directions. He flew through a winding path of sparkling spiderwebs until finally he saw it. A clearing bathed in the first light of morning, filled with flowers that shimmered like captured rainbows. In the center stood a magnificent ancient tree, its branches forming a giant glowing web, the Dreamcatcher's tree. With his last ounce of strength, Flicker flew to the highest branch of the Dreamcatcher's tree. Gently, he placed the little star onto one of the glowing threads of the web. As the star touched the web, it began to glow brighter and brighter, pulsing with joy. The web itself began to hum, and tiny, invisible threads reached out from the star, connecting it to the sky above. Slowly, majestically, the little star began to float upwards, carried by the invisible threads of the dreamcatcher's web. Higher and higher it went until it joined its twinkling family in the vast blue sky. And just before it disappeared completely, it pulsed one last brilliant flash, a silent thank you to the brave little firefly. Flicker watched, tears of joy welling in his tiny eyes. He had done it! He had helped a lost star find its way home. And from that day on, Flicker's own glow never flickered with worry again. It shone bright and steady, a beacon of courage in the heart of the whispering woods, a reminder that even the smallest among us can do the biggest, most magical things.
Azure the whale glides through a vast ocean, her silver streak catching the sunlight as colorful clownfish dart around. The coral haven glows with vibrant reefs, its songs echoing. Azure hums softly, unaware of her power as dolphins leap nearby. Azure notices dark pollution seeping into the coral haven, dimming its glow. Terra the sea turtle, swimming nearby, warns of a tide unleashed by Kai the shark king, jealous of the reef's beauty. Azure, wide-eyed, vows to save her home, her streak glinting. Ollie the octopus, playing with jellyfish, overhears Azure's hum and notices the pollution recedes where her song reaches. He swirls over, his coral crown bobbing, and suggests her voice can heal the reef. Terra nods, proposing they find the crystal chorus. Kai the shark king emerges from the shadows, his spiked crown glinting, and roars that the pollution is his dominion. He sends minions to stop Azure, his red eyes glaring. Azure, Ollie, and Terra flee, their resolve strengthening as they dive deeper. The trio enters a glowing trench, its walls lined with bioluminescent algae. Whirlpools spin dangerously, but Ollie's tentacles steer them through. Terra's wisdom guides Azure to sing, calming the currents as Kai's minions trail behind, adding urgency. Kai's minions trigger a massive whirlpool, pulling the trio into its vortex. Ollie's quick thinking anchors them to a coral outcrop, while Azure's song weakens the spin. Terra's steady swim pulls them free, but the minions close in, heightening the chase. The trio reaches a polluted abyss, its dark waters choking with debris. Azure's song falters, but Ollie's playful antics, juggling debris, lift her spirits. Terra spots a faint glow ahead, the crystal chorus, urging them to press through the toxic haze. The crystal chorus, a radiant reef with singing crystals, pulses with light. Azure's voice amplifies, clearing the pollution around it. Kai appears, roaring to claim the reef, but Ollie's tentacles shield Azure, and Terra's strength holds the line against his minions. Kai challenges Azure to a song duel, claiming his roar will dominate the ocean. The trio prepares, with Ollie tuning the crystals and Terra coaching Azure. As Kai's minions chant, Azure's melody grows, her silver streak glowing, setting the stage for a magical showdown.
Azure's song, amplified by the crystal chorus, weaves a melody of hope, outshining Kai's roar. The pollution retreats, but Kai summons a tidal wave. Ollie and Tara rally ocean creatures, dolphins, jellyfish, to counter it, their unity turning the tide. Overwhelmed, Kai's tidal wave collapses and he retreats, his crown cracking. His minions scatter, awed by Azure's song. The trio celebrates, but Tara warns the ocean needs more healing, urging them to share Azure's gift with all creatures. Azure calls an ocean council at the Coral Haven, now partly restored. Creatures, clownfish, dolphins, jellyfish, gather as she sings, her voice spreading healing waves. Ollie organizes the crowd and Tara leads a chant, uniting the sea to amplify her song. Azure's amplified song with the council's harmony sweeps across the ocean, purging the pollution. The Coral Haven blooms with color, its glow returning. Ocean creatures dance in the currents, their joy echoing as the dark tide vanishes completely. That night, the ocean holds a starlit festival around the Coral Haven, with bioluminescent fish lighting the scene. Azure, Ollie, and Tara are crowned with glowing seaweed wreaths, honored as ocean saviors. Creatures share stories, their bonds strengthened. At dawn, Azure leads a dawn chorus, her song resonating across the ocean, now thriving with life. Ollie and Tara join, their voices blending with hers. Kai, watching from afar, nods in respect, his tyranny ended as the ocean glows with peace. Azure soars above the waves, her silver streak gleaming, with Ollie and Tara beside her. The ocean sparkles, alive with color. Azure declares, "My courage and voice healed us all." The moral lesson shines. Courage and unique talents can heal the world.
Title: The Boy Who Spoke to Color. In the quaint cobblestone town of monochromatic meadows, everything, as its name suggested, was a shade of gray. The houses were gray, the cobblestones were gray, even the fluffy sheep grazing in the fields seemed to have a faint grayish tinge to their wool. The people of monochromatic meadows were kind and gentle, but their lives lacked vibrancy. Living in this gray-scale world was a young boy named Finn. Finn wasn't like the others. Even though everything around him was gray, Finn saw the memory of color. He could close his eyes and recall the bright blue of a jay's wing his grandmother had once described, or the sunny yellow of a dandelion she had sketched for him before the grayness had fully settled over their town. Finn dreamed in vivid hues, a secret kaleidoscope hidden within his mind. Finn loved to draw, using charcoal on large gray stones. He would sketch the shapes of flowers he'd only heard about and the forms of colorful birds from his grandmother's tales. but his drawings were always in shades of gray, a pale imitation of the vibrant world he imagined. One day, Finn's grandmother gifted him a small, old wooden box she had kept tucked away. Inside were 12 smooth, round stones, each one painted a different color: a brilliant red, a cheerful yellow, a deep blue, a vibrant green, and so on. "These were my paints, Finn," she whispered, her voice a soft gray echo. "Listen closely when you hold them. Colors have voices if you know how to hear." Finn held the red stone, smooth and cool in his hand. He closed his eyes, and suddenly he heard something, not with his ears, but in his mind. It was a bold, energetic sound, like a trumpet fanfare, full of warmth and a tiny hint of ill? He picked up the yellow stone. This time the sound was bright and cheerful, like the tinkling of tiny bells, full of sunshine and a feeling of playful shyness. He tried each stone one by one. The blue hummed with a deep, calming sadness, like the gentle sigh of the wind on a quiet night. The green whispered of fresh leaves and a peaceful growing energy. Finn was astonished. The colors spoke to him, each with a distinct feeling, a unique voice. Excited by his discovery, Finn started to paint again, but this time, as he held each charcoal stick, he would listen to the colors in his mind. He would let the feeling of the red, its bold energy, guide his hand as he drew the petals of a flower he imagined as a fiery poppy. The cheerful shyness of the yellow helped him sketch the delicate center. The calming sadness of the blue flowed into the outline of a distant misty mountain. His charcoal drawings, though still gray, began to feel different. They held an energy, an emotion that hadn't been there before. People in monochromatic meadows noticed. His drawings of imagined red poppies seemed to pulse with a faint warmth, and his sketches of faraway blue mountains held a palpable sense of peace. One day, a traveling merchant, his wagon a surprising splash of muted browns and creams against the gray landscape, arrived in monochromatic meadows. He told stories of faraway lands bursting with color, skies of unimaginable blue, forests of vibrant green, and flowers in every shade imaginable. The people listened with a longing they hadn't realized they possessed. That night, Finn couldn't sleep. The voices of his color stones were louder than usual, filled with a kind of yearning he hadn't heard before. The red felt like a passionate cry, the yellow like a hopeful whisper, the blue like a deep sigh for something lost. An idea sparked in Finn's mind. He gathered smooth gray stones from the riverbed, just like his grandmother's original paints. Then, holding each of his colored stones, he focused on its feeling, its voice. He carefully painted each gray stone with a special clear varnish his grandmother had also given him. As the varnish dried under the moonlight, something extraordinary happened. The stones began to faintly glow with the feeling of their color. The red stone radiated a gentle warmth, the yellow stone a soft, cheerful shimmer, the blue stone a cool, calming aura. The actual color wasn't visible, but the feeling of it was palpable. The next morning, Finn placed these feeling stones all over monochromatic meadows. He put the red stones near the hearths of homes, filling them with a sense of warmth and energy. He placed the yellow stones in the town square, bringing a cheerful lightness to the gray space. He left the blue stones by the quiet river, adding to its peaceful calm. The green stones he nestled amongst the few struggling plants, and they seemed to perk up a little. The people of monochromatic meadows noticed the change immediately. A subtle warmth filled their homes, a lightness settled in the square. A deeper peace graced the riverbank. They couldn't see colors, but they could feel them. They started to smile more. Their movements became a little more energetic, and the town felt a tiny bit less gray. The traveling merchant, still in town, was amazed. He couldn't see any difference in the appearance of the town, but he felt a shift in the atmosphere. "There's a different feeling here today," he remarked, "a kind of hidden joy." Finn smiled. He realized that even without seeing actual colors, the essence of color, the feelings they evoked, could still touch people's hearts and change their world. He continued to create his feeling stones, carefully listening to the voices of his original painted stones. He taught the other children to listen too, and soon, though monochromatic meadows remained gray to the eye, it became a town filled with a rich tapestry of felt emotions. The bold warmth of red, the cheerful shyness of yellow, the calming peace of blue, and the growing hope of green. The moral of Finn's story is that true vibrancy and beauty come not just from what we see with our eyes, but from the feelings we nurture and share with others. Even in a world that seems limited, our inner creativity and empathy can bring warmth, joy, and a unique kind of color to everything around us.
Kobe was a clever 12-year-old boy with curly black hair, wide brown eyes, and a bright blue t-shirt that always looked a little too big for him. He wore patched gray shorts, one sock high, the other sliding down. He was the kind of kid who could talk his way out of anything except growing up. That night, the world was quiet, until Kobe's own shadow started whispering. "Hey, Kobe." He froze. "I know you're tired. What if I did everything for you? Chores, homework, even talking to Mom when you're in trouble. All I ask is one night to be free." Kobe looked around. His heart raced. "Who's there?" he whispered. "I'm the part of you that's always behind. The one you leave behind when it's time to grow up." Kobe swallowed. He hated cleaning, hated schoolwork, hated rules. This sounded like a dream. "Okay," he said. "One night," and the shadow grinned. The moment Kobe agreed, the shadow stepped out of the wall, bowed, and vanished into the night. The next morning, everything was done. Dishes washed, bed made, homework finished with gold stars. Even the dog next door was walked and groomed. Kobe blinked. Wow. His mom smiled for the first time in days. His teacher gave him a sticker. His friends clapped. But something was wrong. He looked down. His shadow was gone. All day, strange things happened. His sister's toys went missing. The school fire alarm rang, but no one saw who pulled it. And worst of all, his mom said, "Kobe, you were rude to the neighbor today, but I wasn't even home." That night, the shadow whispered again, "You gave me freedom. Now I'm using it. Isn't that fair?" Kobe ran to the mirror. "Come back." "Too late, Kobe. You traded me. Now I'm the real you." Suddenly, his closet glowed. It creaked open. A powerful wind sucked Kobe in. He tumbled through black fog and strange whispers. He landed on a road made of shadows, floating above a city without light. And in the center stood his shadow on a throne made of mirrors. "Welcome to the place where forgotten things live." "You made me," the shadow said. "You ignored every part of yourself that wanted to grow. You stayed lazy and selfish, and now I'm better at being you than you are." A crowd of other shadows clapped, whispering, "Trade places, trade places." "I don't want this," Kobe whispered. "Then take it back. But you'll have to prove you deserve it." A glowing door appeared. Behind it, every mess he ever made, every hurtful thing he'd said, every lie, every chore he skipped. To leave, he had to face them all. He saw his mom crying after he lied. He saw his sister crying when he broke her toy and blamed her. He saw his dad fixing things alone because Kobe was too tired. He sobbed, I'm sorry. I want to be better." The shadows began to melt. The throne shattered, and Kobe's real shadow reattached to his feet like silk sliding through air. He gasped, "I'm whole again." Kobe woke up in bed. Sunlight filtered in. His shadow stretched with him. He looked around and smiled. That day, he washed the dishes, helped his sister, and did his homework. When his mom smiled again, it wasn't just because of clean socks. It was because she saw a boy who finally understood. When you run from responsibility, you give away your power. But when you own your mistakes, you become someone even your shadow can be proud of.
In a fiery desert kingdom, Pyra, a tiny phoenix chick with soft orange feathers, wide golden eyes, and a flickering flame tail, fluttered weakly through the sands. Her tiny woven cactus flower necklace jiggled as she watched the once mighty volcano, the heart of flames, dim with every passing day. The air grew cold, and the colorful lizards with blue scales, sturdy camels with golden humps, and fluttering butterflies with fiery wings moved slower, their spirits fading. Pyra's heart ached with loneliness and fear, tears welling up as she wondered if her dimming flame meant she'd never fly strong like her mother, who had vanished in a blaze years ago. One twilight, near the volcano's cooling base, Pyra landed, her golden eyes brimming with tears. Shelley the tortoise, a wise old friend with a cracked brown shell and a glowing ember pendant, approached with a gentle voice. "The heart of Flams is the life of our land, little one," she said, her hazel eyes soft. "Its fade means our hope fades too." Pyra's chest tightened with sadness, feeling small and helpless as she remembered her mother's lost song. Suddenly, Flick the desert fox bounded in, his sandy red fur swishing with a blue scarf made from oasis leaves. With a cheeky grin and sparkling green eyes, he teased, "Your flame's so dim it's a candle stub." But seeing Pyra's tears, he softened, sharing a funny story of losing his tail glow and giggling through it. Pyra's lips quivered into a smile, and Shelley revealed an ancient legend, the Ember Core, a mystical crystal deep in molten caves, could reignite the volcano. A spark of hope flickered in Pyra's heart, her necklace glowing faintly. With her heart pounding with fear and excitement, Pyra agreed to the quest. Flick jumped with joy, promising clever tricks, while Shelley offered her wisdom. As they set off under the starry sky, Pyra felt a warm spark in her tail, her resolve strengthening despite the terror ahead. Reaching the molten cave entrance, lava bubbled threateningly, and Pyra's flame dimmed with panic. Flick's encouraging words in Shelley's steady wing touch warmed her heart, and they ventured inside, Pyra's eyes wide with wonder and worry. Inside, lava monsters rose, their fiery eyes roaring, and Pyra froze, her tail nearly extinguishing as memories of her mother's loss flooded back. Tears streamed down her cheeks, mixing with the lava to form a path. Flick's clever dodges and Shelley's protective shell bought time, her heart swelling with gratitude for her friends. They crossed a collapsing lava bridge, rocks crumbling into fire below. Pyra's panic surged, but Shelley's calm story of her own lost home steadied her, and Flick's vine swings pulled them across, Pyra's flames sparking brighter with love. In a dark eagle lair, Eagle King Vort ambushed them, his spiked feather crown glinting and red eyes mocking Pyra's dim flame. "You'll never shine," he sneered, bringing tears to her eyes. Flick's witty retorts and Shelley's defiant stand gave Pyra courage to sing a soft tune, weakening Vort's grip. Vort revealed he stole the volcano spark to hoard power, his voice bitter with loneliness. Pyra felt a surge of sadness for him, her heart aching, and the trio fought back with Flick's tricks, Shelley's strength, and Pyra's growing song, escaping with emotional resolve. They reached the Ember Core chamber, a crystal heart pulsing faintly. Pyra's flame dimmed with doubt, her fears overwhelming her. Flick and Shelley hugged her, their friendship igniting a tearful spark, and Pyra began her rebirth song, emotions overflowing. Her trembling voice grew, awakening the Ember Core, transforming lava monsters into glowing allies. Flick cheered joyfully, Shelley smiled proudly, tears in their eyes, as the chamber filled with hope. Vort assaulted the chamber, his wings whipping winds, driven by desperate jealousy. Pyra's heart broke for his loneliness, her song turning to a plea for friendship. Flick's clever trap and Shelley's shield held him off, her emotions fueling her melody. The song peaked, igniting the ember core in a burst of light, reviving the volcano. The kingdom shook with joy. But Pyra collapsed, her flame fading. Flick and Shelley's tears and hugs revived her, emotions of love and relief flooding the scene. The volcano erupted with warm lava, the kingdom blooming with life. Pyra arose reborn, her flame blazing, feeling overwhelming joy. Vort, touched by her kindness, bowed in regret, tears in his eyes, joining the celebration. Pyra called a council at the volcano base, her voice strong with emotion. Lizards, camels, butterflies gathered, sharing stories of loss and hope, their tears of joy flowing as Shelley led a chant and Flick added humor. A sudden sandstorm tested the kingdom, symbolizing lingering doubts. Pyra's heart raced with fear, but her friend's encouragement and the herd's unity amplified her song, turning the storm into a gentle rain, evoking waves of relief and happiness. That night, a dazzling Phoenix festival lit the kingdom with fireflies and glowing dances. Pyra, crowned with flame feathers, led a rebirth dance, her heart full of love, sharing hugs with friends, tears of joy flowing. Vort confessed his jealousy, tears streaming, feeling alone. Pyra forgave him with a hug, her flame warming his heart, and the kingdom cheered. Emotions of forgiveness and new beginnings filled the air. At dawn, Pyra flew high, her flame bright, overlooking the thriving kingdom. Friends joined, their hearts full of pride and love, Pyra singing a song of hope, tears of happiness in her eyes. She gathered all, her voice emotional, sharing how resilience and hope saved them. The kingdom roared in unity, hearts connected. The moral lesson shined. Resilience and hope can reignite life's wonders, teaching kids that even in the darkest times, believing in yourself and your friends can bring back the light.